Very clear, climate change and I would say social inequity is a huge challenge for the country, but at the same time a great opportunity. People who have done the least will be impacted the most.
हमारे अंदर रिलीजियस सेंस होता है, हमारे अंदर सोशल सेंस होता है, हमारे अंदर सिविक सेंस होता है, लेकिन एनवायरमेंटल सेंस हमारे मन में कब आएगा?
We are at about 1.2 degrees Celsius of heating at the moment. Paris Agreement, which all of you would have heard, hearing, has put us that it has to be well below 2 degrees. At the moment, with all the pledges, all the commitments, all the 28 COPs that have happened so far, we are moving more or less to a 3-degree trajectory. What is data telling us about our journey, about our trade-offs, about our interdependencies so far, so that we can look at it with a little bit of an intelligent mindset as we move ahead. I think in the country, as we all know, we are experiencing heat waves. That becomes a narrative and it's a silent death killer. We all know that. But the other important thing which we have seen data modeled from an India standpoint is that if monsoon was to start changing, I mean, imagine a percentage change in temperature, the power of nature, trillions of water is picked up and dumped into our agri land, and obviously we are very agri-centric still. And if that is what to change, what is the impact? And I think that's one of the biggest issue, because we are, in a way, one would say, front line of this fight. And with the 7,000 odd kilometers of land which is exposed to water, long story short, I think what data shows us is a lot of quick wins have been captured by the Indian corporates. But I think now when we move to some tough calls, I think that's the real story, that how is India moving at the moment. So 25% of the energy consumption is from renewable sources, which is great. I just looked at the data which came out for 23-24. I think it's moving in the right trajectory. But essentially, many would argue in the technical terms that it's only around your direct consumption. What happens to the ecosystem, the upstream, the downstream, the transport sector, the scope 3 as we call, and I think that's a big elephant in the room, still needs to be tackled. A little bit of a discussion that happens saying, look, what does a decimal of a degree matter to us, right? But if you look at the latest science, the impact of 0.1 degree is massive to the population, to the GDP exposure, to the nature. And one of the science, if you have not seen, some of you may have heard, is the planetary science, to say that look at it holistically, right? We are seeing now climate has been talked about a lot, but nature, people will say biodiversity, water is a huge issue in the country to transport water. So I think this planetary science, if you have not looked, is a great science that is coming. And for the first time last year, these 9 boundaries, as you see, 6 of these 9 boundaries have been transgressed, which is to say it has breached its permissible limit. And I think that's the real danger for all of us as we look at it holistically, rather than just carbon as one of the most important variables, needless to say, but we need to look at it holistically as we look at transitioning our planet to safe zone.